You are standing in a London pub. You order a pint. The bartender hands it to you. You say, "Cheers," he nods. You walk away. A few minutes later, someone holds a door open for you. You say, "Cheers." They smile. You leave the pub and pass a coworker on the street. They say, "See you tomorrow." You reply, "Cheers." 3 different situations, 3 different meanings, 1 word. If you have ever visited the United Kingdom, you might have noticed this strange linguistic phenomenon. British people say cheers for everything. It means thank you. It means goodbye. It means you're welcome. And of course, it means let's drink. But how did 1 word come to mean so many different things? And why is this uniquely British? Let us get into it. The word cheers has a surprisingly long history. It did not start as a drinking toast. It did not start as a thank you. It started as a face. The origin goes back to Old French. The word chier meant face or countenance. This came from the Latin word cara, which meant head, which itself came from the Greek word cara, also meaning head. When the word entered Middle English in the 13th century, it still meant face or expression. Over time, the meaning shifted. From face, it moved to expression or mood. Then it moved specifically to good mood or happiness. You can see this in Old English phrases like be of good cheer, which meant to be happy or in good spirits. This phrase dates back centuries and was a common way to wish someone well. The connection to drinking came later. Sometime in the 18th or early 19th century, people began using cheers as a toast before drinking alcohol. The act of toasting itself has ancient roots. In ancient Greece and Rome, people offered libations to the gods. They would raise a cup and utter a prayer or wish. During the medieval period, there was a practical reason for clinking glasses. Poisoning was a genuine fear. When glasses clinked, some liquid would spill from one cup into the other. This demonstrated that the drink was safe. If you were trying to poison someone, you would end up poisoning yourself. The loud noise of clinking was also thought to ward off evil spirits. By the 1800s, cheers had become the standard British toast, but it did not stop there. The first recorded use of cheers as a toast in English comes from 1919, according to Merriam-Webster. But the transformation of cheers into a catch-all expression happened mostly in the 20th century. At some point, cheers began to replace thank you in informal British speech. The exact timeline is unclear, but by the 1970s and 1980s, the usage was well established. One theory suggests that cheers evolved from the older phrase good cheer to you, which was a greeting wishing someone well. Over time, that greeting shortened and shifted meaning. Another theory suggests that cheers became a way of saying thanks after someone bought you a drink. You would say cheers as you raised your glass. That cheers then generalized to any situation where you might say thank you. There is also a possibility that Australian influence played a role. Australian television soaps were popular in Britain in the 1980s and 1990s. Australian English already used cheers to mean thank you. Some linguists believe that British English absorbed the usage from Australian imports. Whatever the exact path, by the 1990s, cheers was firmly established as a multi-purpose word in British English. So what does cheers actually mean today? The dictionaries list 3 main definitions. First, it is the drinking toast. You raise your glass, look at your companions, and say cheers before taking a sip. This is the original usage and is understood everywhere. Second, it means thank you. This is the most common everyday usage in Britain. You buy something at a shop. The cashier hands you your change. You say cheers. Someone holds a door for you. You say cheers. A colleague helps you with a task. You say cheers. The BBC notes that cheers is used by all British people, not just young people, to mean thank you. You can use it in informal situations, but it can also be used in formal situations, like talking to your boss or someone you do not know very well. Third, it means goodbye. This is less common, but still widespread. You finish a phone call. You say cheers before hanging up. You leave a party. You say cheers to the host. You end a conversation with a coworker. You say cheers, see you tomorrow. One Canadian journalist covering the 2012 London Olympics observed that the British used cheers for hello, goodbye, thank you, no bother, evening, you're welcome, nice to see you, whatever. That might be an exaggeration, but it captures the flexibility of the word. There is another British word worth mentioning here. Ta is also used to mean thank you. It is even more informal than cheers and is often associated with Northern England. Ta is basically a short form of thank you that is often taught to very small children, but plenty of adults use it too. And then there is cheerio, which is an older British word for goodbye. Cheerio comes from the same root as cheers and was more common in the mid-20th century. Today, cheers has largely replaced cheerio for goodbye, but you still hear it occasionally. Now, here's an important question. Can a visitor to Britain use cheers like a local? The answer is yes, but with some caution. Cheers is informal. But British formality is different from American formality. In the UK, formal situations are often quite informal anyway. You can use cheers with your boss. You can use it with strangers. You can use it in a shop or a pub or a taxi. However, there are social nuances. Cheers has an aura of mateiness about it. It signals friendliness and equality. Some people use it to assert a lack of social hierarchy. One forum user described how his window cleaner always says, "Cheers, mate," when paid. The undertone might be, just because you live in a big house and pay me to do your dirty work, that does not mean you are any better than I am. That might be overthinking it, but it shows that cheers carries social meaning beyond simple gratitude. Women in Britain use cheers less frequently than men in the thank you sense, unless they want to come across as one of the boys. This is changing, but it is worth noting. The safest approach is to use cheers as a thank you in casual situations. In a pub after receiving your drink. In a cafe when the barista hands you your coffee. When a stranger holds a door for you. In more formal situations, or if you are unsure, stick with thank you. No one will be offended by proper politeness. What about outside Britain? Does cheers mean thank you anywhere else? In Australia and New Zealand, cheers is also used to mean thank you. This is likely due to British influence. In fact, some linguists believe that British English actually borrowed the usage from Australian imports in the late 20th century. In North America, cheers means only the drinking toast. If you say cheers to mean thank you in the United States or Canada, you will probably get a confused look. American English speakers know the word from British films and television, but they do not use it naturally. Some Americans might understand what you mean, but they will know you are not from there. The same is true for most other English-speaking countries. South Africa, Ireland, except in certain contexts, and the Caribbean use cheers only as a toast. So why has this one word become so dominant in British English? There is a theory, and it has to do with British politeness, or rather, British informality. According to a 2018 article in The Telegraph, British people have largely abandoned thank you in everyday speech. They find it too formal, too stiff, too distant. Instead, they prefer informal alternatives. Cheers is the most common. Others include ta, fab, lovely, brilliant, and even just nice one. The same article noted that about 80% of non-British people describe Britons as rude. The author argued that this is because foreigners have not grown accustomed to the British use of informal words. To an outsider, cheers might sound flippant or insincere. To a Briton, it sounds friendly and normal. There is a deeper cultural point here. British English values understatement. Saying thank you very much can sound overly emotional or even sarcastic. Cheers is light. It is breezy. It does not make a big deal out of a small favor. And the British, famously, do not like making a big deal out of anything. Here is a personal story from a language learner. A Bulgarian student named Kalina Varbanova wrote about her experience with cheers in Britain. She knew that British people used cheers to mean thank you, so she decided to use it herself to sound more British. One day, she was riding in a lift with a stranger. When she got out, she said, cheers. Later, she worried that she had been thanking the stranger for riding the lift with her. That would have been nonsense. But she looked it up and discovered she had been using it correctly all along. Her story highlights a common experience for visitors. Cheers feels strange at first. It seems too casual, too easy. But once you get used to it, it becomes natural, and using it yourself makes you feel like you belong. The next time you watch a British film or television show, listen for cheers. You will hear it constantly. Characters say it when they receive drinks, when they end phone calls, when they say goodbye to friends, when they thank coworkers. It is everywhere. And the next time you visit Britain, try using it yourself. At the pub, when you get your pint. At the shop, when you get your change. When someone holds a door for you. You might feel strange at first, but you will sound just like a local. That is why British people say cheers for everything. It started as a face in Old French. It became a toast at dinner tables. It transformed into a thank you and a goodbye. And today, it is the ultimate British expression. Friendly, informal, understated, and useful for almost any situation. Cheers for watching, and cheers for being here. And if this is goodbye for now, cheers for that too. Sources: wordreference.com. Cheers has 3 meanings: drinking toast, thank you, goodbye. BBC Learning English. Cheers likely evolved from be of good cheer. Montreal Gazette. Brits use cheers for hello, goodbye, thank you, no bother, evening, you're welcome. Mike Gravel. Ancient toasting rituals, libations to gods, poison clinking, warding off evil spirits. Word reference forums. Theories, thanks from drink buying, Australian influence via TV soaps. Wikipedia. Cheer originally meant face. Entered Middle English in 13th century from Old French cheer. Tombewan cheers can be used with bosses and strangers, but is almost always used as a one-word sentence. Title options. Why British people say cheers for everything. How cheers became thank you, goodbye, and a toast. The one word that does everything British English explained. Short description. British people say cheers for thank you, goodbye, and of course, drinking. How did one word come to mean so many things? The answer involves ancient